Justin Hawkins writes again. Good day to you, it's me, Justin Hawkins from the darkness. And crucially, Justin Hawkins from this, Justin Hawkins Rides Again, my YouTube channel. I quite enjoy saying my own name now. That's been one of the side benefits of doing this. Like, subscribe, sign up for the alerts. And today is going to be fun because I'm talking about an artist that I know literally nothing about, nothing whatsoever. Oh, just to say, I'm wearing this lovely Langan, Frost and Wayne t-shirt, which was sent to me by my dear friend Brian Langan, who I think I contributed a dramatic monologue to one of these people's songs. So check them out. It's psychedelic 60s folk rock. It's brilliant. Yeah, so today I'm talking about Shawn Mendes. I needed some prep facts before I started, and here they are. So, what is Shawn Mendes? The song I'm doing is called It'll Be Okay. It was written by Mendes, Scott Harris, Mike Sabath, and Eddie Benjamin. Produced by Mendes himself and Sabath, and additionally produced by Benjamin and Johan Lennox. Okay, the first thing to say about Shawn Mendes is he's not Sam Mendes, the director of some of those James Bond films. He's also not Sam Fender, which is a mistake that I was making early on in my analytical career. He's 23 years old, so the best years are ahead of him, actually. He gained a following in 2013, posting song covers on the video sharing application Vine. Remember Vine? Is Vine still a thing? Don't know. His debut studio album, Handwritten, debuted atop the US Billboard 200, making Mendes one of 5 artists ever to debut at number 1 before the age of 18. That's incredible. The single Stitches reached number 1 in the UK and were top 10 in US and Canada. Is that the one that went about something about needing stitches? Is it that one? I'll be needing stitches. In 2018, Time named Mendes as one of the the 100 most influential people in the world. I don't know how you judge the influence of a person. Is it to do with, like, if you're a music artist, can a musicologist look at every subsequent recording and say, this is influenced by that? Or is it just because people wear the same clothes? How do you do that, Time Magazine? Please let me know. Feel free, Time Magazine, to comment in here to educate me. I don't know how this works. Anyway, his awards haul is quite impressive. 10 MTV Europe Awards. There's so many. 8 Juno Awards, don't know what they are. 8 iHeartRadio MMVAs. 2 American Music Awards. And received 3 nominations for a Grammy Award and 1 nomination for a Brit. So yeah, that's a really glittering trophy cabinet. Obviously doing really well, and influencing a lot of people. Let's have a look at this song. I'll just dig it out. Hang on. So Shawn Mendes. It'll Be Okay. Here we go. I'll get the guitar out and have a little listen. First, I'll click on it. That's it. Good stuff, eh? We gonna make it. Is this gonna hurt? Okay, it's a really intimate vocal immediately with a sort of what sounds like an 80s kind of synth organ patch. And he says, oh. Sorry. He says, are we going to make it? Is this going to hurt? And I don't want any sniggering at the back, okay? But he's absent-mindedly fingering his ring. I warned you. Anyway, so I think it's to do with a really significant relationship where there's some kind of commitment which is signified by the wearing of a ring. Perhaps it's a marriage or an engagement, or it's something big. I already know I'm going to cry. We can try to sedate it, but that never works. He's got a lovely little vibrato in his voice, even when he's singing sort of that never was. I can't do it, but I think it's quite difficult to put that kind of controlled wobble in a vocal when you're singing so quietly. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. You often hear "yeah" as a sort of exclamation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In a world where we don't collide,
I start to imagine a world where we don't collide. Let's have a look at the chords. It's all major chords. See, this is what I like when you get an influential young artist, and he has. That's the chord sequence. C major, G major, D major. These are big moves. That's like it's taking like the familiarity of an enormous chord sequence and transplanting it into a modern pop song. I mean, that's ballsy, isn't it? Am I the only person that thinks that?
easy, it'll be okay.
Tell me you're leaving. How's it going? I'll make it easy. It'll be okay. It's like the simplest thing. It's just, it's free, major chords, and a really sincere lyric. He's aiming for a standard, you know what I mean? He wants something that people can cover. This guy's got ambition. There's a bit where he goes, "It'll be okay," and I don't want to see any sniggering at the back because he says "bo" twice. Obviously, personal hygiene is important, but it's not fair to. I mean, there may be a medical reason for body odor, and it isn't fair to exclude anybody on account of that. So yeah, behave yourselves. And he has movie star good looks. He's got his hands in his pockets, wearing an overcoat, wandering around what looks like... Could that be... I don't know. I mean, I know the inside of a tour bus and some parking areas around basically every venue in the world. But this might be... It's a city. Let's say that. It's a city. And it's snowing. It's got a bit of a sort of New Yorky vibe, I suppose. But it could also be somewhere in Asia, I think. But anyway, let's have a look. And it's got one of those things where like, ooh, ooh, like loads of echo on it in the background. I think it might be U2 that pioneered that technique. You know, all these oohs and ahs and woos and, you know, stuff in the background. It's kind of like a counter melody, but it's just treated so distant. It's treated in so distant. It's almost like the Richie Sambora part in a Bon Jovi song.
Nothing more painful.
Okay, I love this guy's voice. It's when he really kicks off and more painful. He's like right up there and full voice, really going for it. But you know, the sort of the finesse in the sort of the really intricate singing style that he has as a sort of reduced and intimate vocal. When he opens it up, it's still there. You're hearing all these like little runs and little soulisms. It's a really well-trained voice. He's really good looking and he's an excellent singer. I hate him. So there's that nice sort of repeating cyclical sort of na 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 na. Not over, not over, not over, not over, yeah. Who sang that? Not over, not over. It has an echo of something else that's not that old, I think, like something from the 90s maybe. It was the Klaxons. I like it when he says that lyric, I start to imagine a world where we don't collide. because there's that sort of a literary expression, when worlds collide, you know, and two cultures are forced to connect and interact with each other. He's talking about a world where we don't collide. It sort of implies that there's a possibility for these two things to be enmeshed, and it's not there. And it's such an enormous concept. Like, I don't know. I think it's this bloke. I reckon, as a writer, he's determined to take over the world. It's impressive. Like broadness on a galactic level.
It's making me sick, but we'll heal and the sun will rise.
It's making me sick, but we'll heal and the sun will rise, rise. So he's continuing his sort of planetary theme. This time he's mentioning the sun, talking about how life goes on and, you know, the day will begin as usual. But when he says rise, he goes, rise, and it rises at the end. These are little tricks and things that make certain words pop in a different way that I always admire. And I've mentioned this before, but it sort of it harks back to, and I never thought I'd say this, Shawn Mendes' writing harks back to, I think there's a little bit of influence in there from Leonard Cohen. What am I saying? You know what I mean.
You tell me you're leaving, I'll make it easy.
Okay, well, you know what? I think I really like the sentiment of this song. It's basically the end of a relationship of some sort, and it's him saying, that he's not going to create difficulty. He's not going to cling on to something that can't be saved. He's going to get on with his life, and he's reassuring the other person in this relationship that they can move on. And it's basically a song of resignation. Like, he's resigned to being on his own for a bit. Yeah, he's a bit emotional about it, but he accepts that it will pass. It's really mature. It's really mature. 23, fuck's sake.
We can't stop the bleeding, we don't have to fix it.
Uh-oh, bleeding. Always worries me when I see bleeding. It says here that the lyric says, we don't have to stay. I think it's probably you don't have to stay. I hope the bleeding isn't supposed to allude to some kind of self-harm. I think it's more just like an emotional outpouring. And the sort of regret that you anticipate at the end of a relationship. It's like, oh, will I miss this? Will I miss that? There's only one way to find out. I think Shawn's saying.
I will love you either way.
I love that little, I will love you either way. It really sort of surprises you, because everything's very linear, and then there's a little, I will love you either way. And then what's the word that pops out? Love. Big moves, I'm telling you. They've made a hook out of ooh to really pull in the people that have only heard it once. His voice gets a bit thin and poppy when he does that sort of upper mid stuff, but he's got loads of range. It's really impressive. I think it just loses something in the sort of the depth of the timbre when he's really pushing himself. I think it tightens up here a little bit. But that's actually, I don't know, I think that's to do with, I think that's your body's own way of sort of narrowing a bandwidth that you operate in. Probably makes it really easy to mix. This is a really, really good sort of pop singer.
I will love you either way.
I will love you either way. And it goes back to that sort of lower register, even though to all intents and purposes the track's up and running now, and he reduces, he sort of, you can feel him withdrawing from the track in the same way that he's withdrawing from the relationship. There's so much symbiosis between the imagery, the way he's approached his vocal and the lyrical content. It's actually like a really pure piece of work and writing, and you can tell that he's been involved in the production, because it does sound like the lyricist has also had a hand in realizing the way this song is presented. And you can hear more and more sort of echo on the vocal towards the end of a track, or not echo, reverb rather. And I think that might be achieved by using that sort of backing vocal that's doing ooh, joining in the sort of unison part with what the main vocal's doing, but it has the effect of the narrator sort of disappearing into the night, which is what he's describing, I suppose. I mean, it has a sort of ethereal, the palette becomes more ethereal towards the end. And now the orchestra is really audible. They've cranked up the strings there.
If the future we've dreamed of is faded to black.
And then there's a drop out back to that original sort of synth organ pad that I've mentioned at the beginning. And there's absolutely no reverb. It's a completely dry voice at the end. Okay, there's a little bit of reverb, but it's nowhere near swamped in it like it was just now. And again, I think when it gets to that point, it's he's not talking about the sort of wider concepts of galaxies, planets, and suns, solar systems. You know, he's not talking about universal themes. He's talking about how he will love the I don't want to say antagonist, but his counterpart. And he's back to wandering along in an alleyway somewhere. I mean, it's really beautiful, and just a couple of moments that make your ears prick up. Atmospheric, and I love the way it's all in keeping with each other. It's like it doesn't seem there's nothing incongruous about the video treatment in relation to the lyric, between the lyric and the music. It's a coherent and cohesive piece of writing, and they've done it really well. And once again, he's not Sam Fender, he's not Sam Mendes. He's Shawn Mendes, right? Yeah, he is. And I don't know. I reckon that guy. I don't know. I've never heard any of his other songs apart from that one about stitches. This one seems way more sensitive than that, and not relying on a sort of like a gimmick for a lyric, really. But it's quite beautiful, and it's impressive stuff. He's going to take over the world if he hasn't already. Oh yeah, he's one of the most influential people in the world. I can see why now. Justin Hawkins writes again. Like, subscribe, sign up for the alerts. Watch one of these 2 videos, because I've got loads more of this stuff. Nice one. See you on the ice, and adieu.